I didn't have really great idea because I hadn't been here before. I hadn't visited the country before. So all I knew was what I read in the books and what I've seen in movies, and of course what I heard from people. So I imagine a huge country, a lot of spaces, a lot of opportunities, and a lot of friendly people. And that's exactly actually what happened when I arrived. So it met my expectations. Well, yeah, there are a lot of differences. I think the traditions, mainly, of course, the language. In Europe, you have many different countries; they speak different languages. Here, everybody speaks English, and so there was one difference. The traditions, the culture, the way things are being done, the way business is being conducted, and the way people live. It's different. It's just. It's not the same as it is in Europe, so it takes some time to get used to. I came in 1980, and it was actually it came exactly on the day when Ronald Reagan was elected.
Well, the time has come. You've seen the map. We've looked at the figures, and NBC News now makes its projection for the presidency. Reagan is our projected winner. Ronald Wilson Reagan of California, a sports announcer, a film actor, governor of California, is our projected winner at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. On this election night, we have projected Ronald Reagan the winner.
In November 4th, 1980, and so the country was excited about Reagan being a new president. So it was after the Carter era and after the Iran crisis and the hostages. So everybody was excited, everybody was behind Reagan, and I didn't know much at that time about it, and I agreed, I went along with it. So and Reagan happened to be one of the better presidents, was elected for two terms. So I did agree with the movement at the time. The social atmosphere, it was the end it was the end of the hippie era, 1980, early 80s, but still there was a lot of that residual effect of the hippies and the lifestyle, and of course the music. So it was totally different from Europe. It was almost a big culture shock for me, but I liked it. By the time I was in my 20s, so I enjoyed it. I loved the music. I liked the lifestyle. So it was on the virtue of change from the hippie style to your 80s and to a more sort of business-oriented, family-oriented type of atmosphere. People in Europe, and a lot of people, not only in Europe but all over the world, they think often that that America is a rich country. And that's true as a whole, but there are a lot of individuals that are far from being rich and far from living the dream. And everybody who comes here is excited about the American dream and think that it's really easy to achieve it. And that's not really the case. You have to work hard. You have to study. You have to work hard to get to the point where you want to be. That's probably the main stereotype that that the people here who don't live who don't live in this country, and then it's basically a shock for them when they arrive and they say, okay, wait a minute, we do have to work hard, we do have to do everything we can do in order to become successful in America. It was difficult. I think it's easier for young people to adjust to it. I mean, it's much faster and much smoother than it is for older people. I've seen older people coming in here and they still live within their own world. For me, I was in my 20s, so it was quite easy, but it took some time. Getting used to a new language, getting used to new job process and getting the job and staying in the job, going back to school. So it wasn't hard, but it took time. It does take time. Speak the language right, and making sure that you understand everything, and making sure that people understand you and all that. It takes time. So it was time consuming. It took a few years, but it wasn't so bad. It wasn't hard. The differences between governments can be huge, and it really depends what governments in Europe you're talking about. I mean, the process of electing our governmental officials and our presidents is quite different from Europe. Here you do it through the electors, actually, through the people who are being elected by the parties. You don't vote for one individual person. You don't vote for specific names, but you're voting for the electors of each party. That's different from Europe. You have a pool of people that you're voting for, and you're voting specifically for those people, regardless what parties they represent. And again, it depends on the country in Europe you're talking about. But it's a democratic process, and that's the main thing. And it's they're elected by the people. They're elected by everyone. Everyone who participates in the election process plays a significant role, which may not be always the case in some other governments. To find career opportunities, to find jobs in the U.S. for people who are just new to the country can be difficult. If you don't know anyone, if you don't have any contacts, any connections, it can be difficult. But you have to learn the process. And I did learn that over the years. First, you gotta realize that you need to qualify for certain positions where you're applying. It's number one. Number two, follow through the steps. How to get your step. How to get yourself in the door. Making sure that you build your resumes properly. Make sure that you send it to the right places, and that you follow up. You represent yourself the right way, and then you can back up your representation. So you go to the interviews, you answer the questions correctly, and hopefully you can get your dream job. But it takes time to learn the process. And it may be, in some cases, it may be difficult depending on the economy. When the economy is not performing very well, it takes longer. If the economy is great, if it's booming, like it was in the 90s, then it's easy to find a job. You have a lot of selection, you have a lot of choices.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Katie Couric at CBS News election headquarters in New York. And we have breaking news, momentous news, really. CBS now estimates, because of victories in California, Washington, Oregon, and Hawaii, CBS projects that Senator Barack Obama of Illinois will be the next president of the United States. He defeats John McCain, the senator from Arizona and Vietnam War hero. And no matter whom you voted for, you'd have to agree this is an incredible milestone in the history of this country.
4 years ago, when we were going through the election process again, after George Bush, young George Bush, served his second term, it was a time for the country to, this was a time for a change. Most people felt that way. So a lot of people got really excited about Barack Obama. It was somebody fresh, somebody who promised changes in the country, and someone who was a great speaker, could get a good following, and was different from the presidents before. So I voted for Obama, and I really was excited about it, and then just as a lot of people were. John McCain was, I believe that he meant well. He was on the right track, but he was the same old thing. He was the same continuing era of Bushes, whether it was the son Bush or the father Bush before him. So it was a great time for a change, and I'm glad it happened. Would I come here again if I go back and if I had the chance to do this whole thing again? It's something that I really thought about quite a bit. It's a good question. I mean, I thought about it, and I don't regret anything I've done, and I really not sorry for anything, and I'm actually glad that the way it turned out. But perhaps not. I went through a lot, and as I get older, I was never really homesick before, but as I get older, I think about my roots more and more, and the family I left behind and all that. So the short answer is probably no. But again, I'm not really, I'm not sad about what happened, and I don't regret it. There are no regrets. I'm glad it turned out this way. But again, would I do it again? Probably not, and probably not. I probably wouldn't.